A relationship with the right referral partner could be a game changer for any B2B company. So what if you could reverse engineer these relationships at a moment's notice? Start a podcast, invite potential referral partners to be guests on your show, and grow your referral network faster than ever. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to the B2B Growth Show, a podcast dedicated to helping B2B executives achieve explosive growth. Whether you're looking for techniques and strategies or tools and resources, you've come to the right place. I'm James Carberry.
And I'm Jonathan Green.
Let's get into the show. Welcome back to the B2B Growth Show. This episode is sponsored by Directive Consulting, the B2B search marketing agency. We are here today with Jamie Walker. She is the head of marketing at Synthio. Jamie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I am fantastic. So, Jamie, before we dive into the topic today, we're going to be talking about the secret to jaw-dropping engagement rates, which I think every B2B marketer listening to this is going to be on the edge of their seats wanting to know what the secret is. But before we dive into that, tell us a little bit about Synthio and what you guys are up to over there.
Yeah, definitely. So Synthia is a new kind of customer data platform that helps B2B marketing and sales teams get to the right people faster. And so kind of what that means for marketers is we do things all related to data. So we help marketers keep their data clean, compliant, and accurate for an ongoing basis. So we're more of a data management platform.
I love it. So we'll just jump right in. I don't want to keep people waiting too long to figure out what is the secret to jaw-dropping engagement, right? And as we were talking offline, the secret is, really adding the human element to this, to all aspects of our messaging. Can you kind of break down, what does that look like? How has that manifested itself in your efforts at Synthio?
Absolutely. So the secret is actually really simple. It's just being more human-like. And I think we're all kind of caught up in this world, this digital world, which is amazing. And it's amazing how you can get your message across, but it's also really, really busy and everyone's trying to get their message through and they're having a really hard time doing that. And you're using digital tools to do that because that's what we're supposed to do. So the secret I say is adding that human emotion. I think if you remember before, all these great tools in the digital era kind of was brought up, we had to rely on our one-to-one communication with people to get our message and our product or our service across to them. And so it's really adding that one-to-one communication back into play. And I think that's a little bit more challenging for marketers because we're a one-to-many or we're one-to-many. Yeah. We're not used to doing that one-to-one. But, there are certain tactics as you think about, James, you think about ABM. ABM, we're really focusing on, we're trying to get more granular with our targets. So that really helps from a marketing perspective looking out of how you can do that because you're not really focusing on a lot. You're really focusing on that top percent of accounts that you're trying to go after.
So let's get into some of the kind of the tactical things that you guys are doing to add that human element into it. I know offline you had mentioned video is a big way that you guys are tackling that. Can you expand on that a bit for us?
Yes, absolutely. So video is awesome. I think we can all kind of attest to that. Everyone, you're seeing it more around on social media. You're seeing it more in just other companies and their marketing programs. So one of the things before we get into video is what we do, and I think this is really important, is we do what I like to call persona matching from internal organization to external. And it's a little bit easier for us, I would say, because our persona is a marketing persona. And so it's easier for our marketing team to align our messaging to our external marketers. So we use video at very specific touch points in our cycle to try to get more engagement. So, our goal is just to get as many people, interested in the account as we possibly can. So we're not really focused on one, we're really focused on a lot. And so we found it really helpful to use video within our content because I think it's easier for people to connect with someone talking, speaking the same language, if you think about it. It's easier to grasp their attention in 90 seconds than it is to get someone to, read a white paper in 15 minutes. So that's been something that's been pretty powerful.
Got it. And so when you going back to that idea of persona matching, so does that mean, if you're reaching out to whatever director of demand gen, that you would have your internal director of demand gen craft messaging that goes to that external director of demand gen?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one way to do it. And I think that would be getting really granular detail. We've just done it to the standpoint of, I was previously in a demand gen role, so I can kind of speak that language and it becomes easy. But it's really for us using our department and our resources here from marketing to hone and craft those messages externally. So it might be a little bit more challenging if you had, to say your persona was more IT focused. That would be, using an example there would be, getting your person who's kind of internally matching that person you're reaching, working with them to making sure your messaging is aligned to what they're actually feeling and understanding. So it's hard for a marketer, I think, to relate to someone in IT, but if you had someone that we use internally, we would be able to understand them more, and so we can kind of speak the same language. So yes, so if you can get down to the level of demand gen to demand gen, if that's kind of what works for your business, I think more power to it, because the more you can align and feel and talk the same talk, the more that you're going to be able to get that connection and engagement.
All right, today's growth story is Aegis Software, a company that makes software for manufacturing operations. They were one of the first companies in their space to invest in search marketing, but as competition grew, their performance plateaued. To counter this, they hired Directive Consulting, the B2B search marketing agency. With unparalleled experience in inbound lead gen for B2B companies, Directive was able to increase Aegis's monthly online leads by 457%, while at the same time lowering their cost per lead by 147%. Now I have a hunch that Directive can get these kind of results for you too, so head over to directiveconsulting.com and request a totally free custom proposal. That's directiveconsulting.com. All right, let's get back to this interview. And in terms of video, are you doing kind of one-to-many videos where you're kind of embedding it in blog content? Are you doing one-to-one videos? I've seen a lot of SDR teams start to use tools like BombBomb or Viewed It from Vidyard to do kind of personalized one-to-one videos. What kind of videos have you guys seen the best results with?
Yeah, so we are definitely power users of Vidyard. Love that product. So we've been doing, so it depends on what our outreach is. So for things like events, we do a lot of investment in events. We've been doing a one-to-one there. So I myself will get on the video, and there'll be very specific people that we're trying to connect and, maybe come to a party or, meet us in the city that we're going to be sponsoring an event in, and I will do a one-to-one to that person. We also, if we're going to do it within our content, then that is definitely more of embedding it in a blog or in an email, and the message is more about to that audience, the audience of whether it be marketing operations or demand gen, whoever your targets are. So that's more of a one-to-many approach, because I think it's impossible to do everything one-to-one, but I think we strive to do that. We just make sure that we're using our efforts kind of to the best that we can. And so we've really seen, the analytics that we can get using Vidyard is amazing, and how you can kind of tie that all back into, the whole entire program. And for us, we use Marketo. So, being able to get all of that data is really important for when you're thinking about really focusing on those engagement metrics.
Okay. So you also mentioned something to me offline, Jamie, about a face-to-face interaction. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's just as simple as, picking up and going to meet your customer, in their office, or going to take a prospect out to lunch. I know it gets silly. This has been around forever, but really, I think we've been relying so heavily on, and just for time and resources too, on connecting with our audience, just digitally. And I think we've kind of taken an approach where, this is very, very targeted. You can't obviously scale this too much. It would be very expensive. But, I've literally gone out and met customers. I've gone to their office. I'm meeting them. I'm having dinner with them. And that's just more because I'm a person. I love to talk. I love to relationship build. That's just my nature. And I think it becomes a little bit easier for me to do that stuff. But I've been noticing in the last 6 months, just from the 3 to 5 trips that I've done, how much that has opened up opportunities that I wasn't even looking for to begin with, or just helped further the engagement down that sales cycle. So it's been pretty powerful for us.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Jamie, because we did our first round of B2B growth dinners. Was it last week? It was the week before last. And I was in Boston. I did like 4 little events there, 2 lunches, 2 dinners, and then went to Colorado and did a Colorado Springs and a Denver dinner and lunch, and then came back to Orlando and did another dinner. in Orlando. And these were, existing customers, prospective customers, just folks that listened to our show. And of those 7 events that I did through over 1 week, we added, we've already closed 1 deal out of that and added another 6 opportunities that will likely close in the next 60 days. And so that wasn't even my intent, really. Like I wanted to do relationship building, and I wanted to be in front of these folks. And I knew that there would probably be an opportunity or 2 that would come out of it. I was not expecting to see 7 opportunities come out of it. And it wasn't because I was pitching what we do or how we do it. It naturally came up over the course of, conversation with these dinners that I was doing with, 6 to 7 B2B marketers. The thing that we do just naturally came up, and it ended up creating opportunities for us. So I'm now coming off the heels of that trip thinking, how can we double down and do more of these kind of in-person events? Because I just think there's a tremendous amount of power in it. And going back to your point earlier about just it being so noisy, digital is so noisy and it's so hard to break through. The more you can humanize, whether that's with video or actually getting face to face with folks and doing something in person. I love what Drift is doing, at conferences where they're hosting like workout sessions for people at different conferences that they're going to. So they're just thinking outside the box in terms of how can they get face to face with customers, with prospective customers, and not just, hey, come to my booth. Are there brands that you're seeing, Jamie, that do an exceptional job with the face-to-face interaction stuff?
You actually took the perfect example was Drift is what I was going to use, because Drift came to Atlanta for the road show. And for the road show. And I was like, truthfully, I had never been to a road show before, but I live here in Atlanta. I was like, right, why not go out on a Monday night, see, meet new people and kind of see what's kind of going on there. And I have to say that whoever organized that event did a fantastic job. And then on top of putting a release, or I think it was either a product release on top of that, and just adding, you think about personal brand, adding the personal brand on top of the company brand, to, just putting it all together with the roadshow it was impeccable. I mean, if you learned anything from that, it's, how can you take something like that and replicate it?
Terminus is in your own backyard, and they're somebody that we're working with, and I think they're doing a phenomenal job as well with the Flip My Funnel conferences. So there's a couple different examples for listeners to kind of walk away with, going, okay, who are the folks doing this face-to-face stuff? Right. I obviously stole your example, but I think in your own backyard, Terminus is doing a really great job with it as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Sangram's all over everyone's LinkedIn feed. He is a great thought leader in our space. And, he's definitely Terminus is a customer of ours. We're also a customer of them. So we're pretty tight here with that relationship, and also, living in the same city. So they're Flip My Funnel. I think we're going to be heading there this year, so I'm pretty excited to see kind of how that's been. They've been taking a little bit of a hiatus, so we'll see how the event starts back up for this year.
I'm excited about it as well. Well, Jamie, this has been fantastic. I'm in total agreement that the secret to incredible engagement is being more human. And I think you've shared some really practical ways that marketers can do that. So I really appreciate your time. If there's somebody listening to this, they want to stay connected with you, or they want to learn more about Synthio, what's the best way for them to go about doing that?
Oh, absolutely. So you can find me on Twitter. My name is @JamieMopa, or you can visit Synthio at www.synthio.com for more information.
Awesome, Jamie. Well, again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, James.
There are lots of ways to build a community, and we've chosen to build the B2B growth community through this podcast. But because of the way podcasts work, it's really hard to engage with our listeners. And without engagement, it's tough to build a great community. So here's what we've decided to do. We're organizing small dinners across the country with our listeners and guests. No sales pitches, no agenda, just great conversations with like-minded people. We'll talk business, we'll talk family, we'll talk goals and dreams. We'll build friendships. So if you'd like to be a part of a B2B growth dinner in a city near you, go to b2bgrowthdinners.com. That's b2bgrowthdinners.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.